After winning the Stanley Cup in the summer of 2016, the Pittsburgh Penguins went into the next year looking to do something no NHL team had done since the late 90s. That was, of course, to win the ultimate prize in back-to-back seasons. The Penguins were a fantastic team with three lines that could score at an elite level, a strong defense core with a good mix of veteran experience along with youth, and basically two number one goaltenders. And the crazy thing about this team was that they were able to go into the 2016-17 season with almost the exact same roster of players, which would of course give them their best chance to repeat as champs. In order to build this championship lineup, the Penguins and then GM Jim Rutherford made some excellent moves, including acquiring Phil Kessel via trade from the Toronto Maple Leafs back on July 1st of 2015. Then in the same offseason, they traded Brandon Sutter and a third-round pick to the Canucks for Nick Bonino, Adam Clendenning, and a second-round pick. Bonino, who would turn into an extremely impactful third-line center and be one-third of an iconic Pittsburgh Penguins line. They also signed veteran center Matt Cullen, who won a cup with the Carolina Hurricanes back in 2006 and would become an extremely productive bottom six center for the Pens and a player who could excel in any situation. In the middle of the season, the Penguins also made a key move, trading away the aging veteran Rob Scuderi in exchange for the puck-moving defenseman Trevor Daley, who would become a key piece on the Pittsburgh blue line. Another huge trade Rutherford would pull off during the 2015-16 season was swapping David Perron for Carl Hagelin. Perron, a guy who was extremely talented but was simply never a good fit in the Penguins lineup, and Hagelin, a speedy winger who would be the final piece to the HBK line that would be instrumental in helping the Penguins win the Cup, especially in 2016. Pittsburgh also acquired offensive defenseman Justin Schultz for a third-round pick. Schultz, who stepped up more than any other defenseman offensively in 2017, and with Chris Letang missing the entirety of the 2017 playoff run, the Penguins would not have gone back-to-back without Justin Schultz. With the team running it back with pretty much the exact same roster in 2017, there weren't many moves that needed to be made to give the team a shot to repeat. But what most fans likely didn't know is that there was a 21-year-old prospect who was drafted in the third round, 77th overall by the Penguins in the 2013 draft, who would jump into the Penguins lineup in the fall of 2016, score 2 goals in his NHL debut, including one on his first shot, go back to the American Hockey League and continue to light it up, come back into Pittsburgh's lineup for good mid-January, and eventually lead all players in playoff goals with 13, including 5 game winners as a 22-year-old rookie. Although the Penguins traded their first-round pick back in 2013 to acquire Jarome Iginla, their fantastic scouting still enabled them to get one of the best players in the draft, the biggest hidden gem in the class, Jake Guentzel. Jake came from a hockey family, with his dad, Mike, having played college hockey in Minnesota and then coached for the Gophers for years before becoming a pro scout. And both of his older brothers also played Division I college hockey. But for as good as the rest of his family was, none of them had the talent and hockey smarts that Jake has and has shown at every level throughout his career. Guentzel was born in Omaha, Nebraska, while his dad was coaching the Omaha Lancers of the USHL. So fittingly, Jake would go on to play college hockey at the University of Nebraska, Omaha, where he would stay for 3 years, getting better and better each season. Guentzel put up nearly a point per game in his freshman year, led his team in scoring in year 2, and by year 3 he scored 19 goals and 46 points in 35 games, and was one of the best players in college hockey. He decided to turn pro after his junior season and would make his AHL debut for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pens, even stepping in for their playoff run in 2016 and leading the team in scoring with 14 points in 10 games. The next year, Guentzel would start the season with the Wilkes-Barre in the American Hockey League, but would quickly prove he was almost too good for the league. Jake scored a super impressive 21 goals and 42 points in just 33 AHL games in the 2016-17 season, and was third in the league in points per game at just 22 years old. He made his NHL debut for Pittsburgh on November 21st, and after scoring 2 goals in his first game and adding 2 more points in his next couple games for the Pens, you just knew it was only a matter of time before he would be staying in the NHL for good. And instead of making a big trade, the Penguins' big move came by calling Guentzel back up to the NHL in January, where he would now fit right into the top 6 and eventually become Sidney Crosby's running mate and a player that would develop unbelievable chemistry with one of the best hockey players of all time. Guentzel scored a strong 16 goals and 33 points in 40 NHL regular season games, helping the Penguins score more goals than any other team in the regular season. In the playoffs, Jake proved to be one of the Penguins' top players, and in round 1 against Columbus, he scored 5 goals in the 5-game series, including a hat-trick in Game 3. In round 2 against Washington, Guentzel would add 4 more goals in the 7-game series against the Caps. He'd pick up 2 assists in a wild 7-game series against the Ottawa Senators that went back and forth. But in the Stanley Cup final against Nashville, he'd come up huge yet again, scoring 4 goals in the 6-game series, including the game winner in Game 1.
In comes Jake Guentzel, he shoots, he scores!
Sidney Crosby would end up winning his 2nd straight Conn Smythe Trophy for playoff MVP, but Guentzel led all playoff scorers with 13 goals, 11 of them coming at even strength, 5 game winners. Guentzel would continue to be an absolute star in the Penguins lineup over the next several years. In the 2018 playoffs, Sid and Jake did everything they could to try and help the Penguins three-peat, both of them putting up 21 points in just 12 games in the first 2 rounds, but they were finally taken down by the eventual 2018 champs, the Washington Capitals. Guentzel would become a 2-time 40-goal scorer and a point-per-game player with Pittsburgh, and arguably Sidney Crosby's best winger of all time, although Chris Kunitz may like a word. The Penguins traded Jake to the Carolina Hurricanes last season for Michael Bunting, prospects Vasily Ponomarev, Ville Koivunen, Cruz Lucius, and a 2nd-round pick. Guentzel was a huge piece in the Canes lineup, scoring 9 points in 11 playoff games, but in the offseason he chose to sign with the Tampa Bay Lightning, signing a well-deserved 7-year, $63 million contract. He's top 10 in the NHL in goals, top 30 in points, and will look to help Tampa go on another long playoff run this spring. Guentzel's one of the best finishers in the game right now, one of the smartest players in the league, and will forever be a Stanley Cup champion.